Hello, my Happy Corrupted Wargamers, and welcome back to Happy Corrupted Wargaming. Today, I am really excited to share with you some of the sickest combos in Warhammer 40k. Now, there are a ton of these, so this is part 1. I'll do part 2 some other time, and then I'll probably do a part 3 some other time. But these are really sick combos that are super fun to pull off on the battlefield, and actually many of your opponents may never have thought about these. Personally, when I'm playing an actually competitive game, I tend to warn my opponents of these combinations before we actually start the game, and I recommend you do the same. But if it's your best friend and you really just want to screw them over, don't warn them and just do it to them. Oh, that only applies to close friends. Everyone else, give them a heads up. Be a nice opponent. So let's go and jump right on into it. Not the longest video, but what I am going to do is I'm not just going to read the combinations to you. I'm actually going to show you how to pull it off on TTS. So if you don't have video, load up the video so you can actually watch me show you how to pull it off on using the TTS view. Or, listen to it now and watch it again later. It's great for the algorithm. Like and subscribe and share with your friends. Let's jump right into the video. We're going to talk about killing transports in your opponent's phase. Now, this is a really badass combination that my buddy Shettel was talking to me about. If you guys don't know Shettel, he's been on this channel before. He'll be on the channel again. He's also my admin in the Discord, which you can become a member of for supporting me. You pay $4 a month. You can sign up using the coffee link down below, or you can sign up as a YouTube member as well. And either way, you get access to the private Discord where we go through high-level tactics every single freaking day. You can also sign up for coaching while you're at the Ko-Fi as well, or even a specific coaching match, which is a 4-hour-long private tutorial with me, learning whatever you need to learn about the game, where we're playing a game, how do you do matchups, whatever. So anyway, let's get into the killing transports in the opponent phase. Thank you, Shetzel, for this one. So essentially, this is going to work really well with either Incursors or Castrican. There may be other models in the game who can do this as well, but those are the two common ones that this will really work with. So first off, the main thing that you're going to want to do is you want to get a Rhino down to 2 to 4-ish wounds. And then you're going to want to charge with Castrican or Incursors. And you're going to want to fight and hopefully not do any wounds to the Rhino, because you do not want to kill the Rhino or whatever transport that has troops on the inside. Then, at the start of your opponent's movement phase, or you could do a command phase. I actually like the command phase more. You get to activate your Melto Mines, which is a war gear option, and I have it written here for you. Once per battle at the start of any phase, meaning you can do this in the command phase as well. You can select one enemy unit within 3 inches of the bearer. They don't even have to be in engagement range. They just have to be within 3 inches of the bearer. Roll 1d6 on a 2-up. That enemy suffers d3 mortals, or 2d3 mortals instead if it is a vehicle. So then the Rhino, or whatever transport, will take 2d3 mortal wounds on a 2-up. It then dies, because if it only had 2 wounds, it literally can't die. Can't not die. Unless it has a feel no pain. And then what happens is the troops inside of it have to get out, and even if they typically would out-OC you and control the objective, they won't control the objective because you are battle-shocked when you get out of a Rhino or a transport. You are always count as being battle-shocked when you get out of a transport that is destroyed, and you cannot charge. And since this happened in your turn and not your opponent's turn, you cannot charge in your own turn, and you are battle-shocked in your own turn. And you spend CP to unbattle-shock it because of the timing. So because you're not taking a battle-shock test, you just count as being battle-shocked. Now, a lot of people would make a argument which is not correct, saying that, well, at the start of your command phase, you still unbattle-shock. No, because when you read the rules for the emergency disembarkation, what'll happen is you count as being battle-shocked until the start of your next command phase. So there is no opportunity to unbattle-shock, and you will count as battle-shocked, meaning you cannot hold the objective. So your Rhino dies, you get out, you don't hold the objective, and then you also can't charge, which is kind of brutal, especially if it was being used on, say, a Rhino full of Chosen. The Chosen really want to get out and charge, but they can't, so they're just sitting there useless in the controlling player's own turn, and it is absolutely brutal. So I love this combination. It's super strong. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to hop on the TTS right now, and I'm just going to kind of show you, just so you can see how it works. All right, so 2 seconds. Let's go to the live. Here we are. We're on the TTS view. So I've kind of set up a little scenario right here. This is a little Rhino, and let's say I've just got, some prosecutors that are on the inside of it, and I have 4 Castrican left. Well, I'm just going to roll a little charge. The Castrican are going to end up charging this Rhino. I'm going to do, 1 wound on accident to it when I charge it. So now it's down to 2 wounds. And then in the Custodes player, seeing as this is Gold Rhino, so we'll pretend this is Custodes player's command phase, what we're going to do is let's say we don't even control let's say we only have 1 Castrican on the objective, so the Rhino would technically still control it. At the start of the Custodes player's command phase, we will activate our Meltamines, which would mean that they're going to take 2d3 mortal wounds. Now, this doesn't really work against Custodes because they have the Fort Fiona Pains, but just bear with me. So against, call it any other army, it doesn't matter. The Rhino then dies, and when it dies, the units inside will disembark, but since they're battle shocked, they do not count as holding the objective, even if they then out-OC the Casterkin, because they are battle shocked. And since they're not taking a battle shock test, you cannot use the stratagem to automatically pass the battle shock test. And because of the rules, they count as being battle shocked until the start of their next command phase, meaning they can't even charge this turn or ever become unbattle shocked until the start of their next command phase. So it is a sick combination that will steal objectives from your opponents. And if this was a, say, Chaos Space Marines and these were chosen, it'll also make them basically completely waste an extremely important unit for an entire turn. I love this combination. It's totally sick. Give it a try in some of your matches. It's not always the easiest thing to pull off, but when you do pull it off, it is absolutely spicy. All right, so let's go back to the next really, really sick combo here. Wrong one. Sorry about that. Okay, so we are all set and we're ready to rock and roll. We're looking at unlimited fights. This is a controversial one. I had a lot of people screaming at me in several Discords when I was talking about it, but they're all wrong, so it's okay. Now, some people are going to have arguments about this one, and that is okay because the core rules do seem slightly conflicting. However, Codex rules, and just is just a generally true for all of Warhammer 40,000. Codex/index, whatever, very often overrides core rules to the game. All the freaking time. Like, for example, there's a stratagem that will allow Votann to shoot during their opponent's shooting phase, but core rules says you can only shoot during your shooting phase. There are so many exceptions to the core rules that come out of codexes and indexes. The core rules are constantly overridden, so you have to understand that this is a rule that overrides the core rules. So, in the core rules, it says that no unit can fight more than once in the fight phase. It says that, but certain units in the game, the one I'm going to be talking about right now would be the Death Company Dreadnought. The Hellbrute has this rule in certain detachments. I think it's just the World Eaters detachment. But there's a couple of different units in the game that'll have this rule that is effectively worded the exact same way as this. Frenzied Reprisal. Each time an enemy unit targets this model after that unit has finished making its attacks, this model can either shoot as if it were your shooting phase or fight as if it were your fighting phase. This, rules as written, will allow for essentially unlimited amounts of fights, so long as you can then consolidate into another unit. They're forced to hit you because you can't choose to not attack. You then fight. If you kill them, you can consolidate into another unit. It's actually pretty freaking awesome. When you stack this with Sons of Sanguinius detachment for Blood Angels, you guys know I'm such a huge fanboy right now. That is my army. That is what I'm smashing, what I'm crushing with right now. You can even stack it with the 6-inch consolidation stratagem to really get a lot of distance on this. So this is something that you might have some people who will get a little butthurt about. So I always recommend that when you're dealing with something like this, you give people a heads up that it works. You need to let them know because they probably don't. If they have a problem with it, call the TO, and the TO will read the ruling, and they will have to rule in your favor unless they just want to randomly FAQ their particular events to be against rules as written. And you know what? Several events do that. And if the TO rules against that, no big deal. You can't do it at that tournament. But in the standard rules written by GW, this 100% works, and it's super freaking cool. So let's go to the TTS view so I can kind of walk you through how it operates. It is a blast. All right, so we're back on the TTS view. So I have our super duper Death Company Dreadnought. Let me take a look at how really awesome this model is. Look at that really bad man. He's ready to rock and roll. He is going to charge these scouts. It is a 6-inch charge. He rolls it. Let's say he rolls like a 7, and he touches them right there. Boom. He's going to kill all of these scouts. And when he ends up killing these scouts, because he always gets to reroll hit rolls and wound rolls because he's twin linked and he's Death Company, he's then going to consolidate 3 inches into this squad. Now, these scouts are going to be forced to punch him. They don't have a choice because when you're engaged in melee, you can't choose to not attack. So the scouts will hit the Death Company Dreadnought. They'll pile in and do all this nonsense. The Death Company Dreadnought will then get to fight back because he was just attacked due to his Frenzied Reprisal rule. He will kill all of these scouts. So now he has activated twice in a turn. All these scouts died. But oh no, he can only consolidate 3 inches and touch the objective, but he can't get within engagement range. But since he's a Blood Angel, so you can spend 1 CP to give him a 6-inch consolidation, which means he then will end up touching these infiltrators. And then these infiltrators will have to pile in and fight him. And once they pile in and fight him, probably doing no damage, the Death Company Dreadnought does what? Well, he gets to fight, and then he's going to wipe the entire squad. This is a hilarious and awesome interaction that 100... He also then gets to consolidate again. If there was another unit, he could conceivably even pile in and do it again. This is actually a really hard chain of events to actually set up on the table, but when you do it, oh my goodness, is it rewarding and is it freaking awesome. Now remember, this Death Company Dread is only T9. He's actually not that hard to kill. He's very expensive. He's like 165 points if I'm not mistaken. And this particular combination, the way I demonstrated it, seems broken. It's really not, because setting that exact scenario up is super hard and it requires your opponent to be a little bit silly. So it's awesome. If you can get it to go, I want you to take a picture and I want you to tell me about it, and I want you to record it for me so that I could see it, because it is so freaking awesome when you get it to rock and roll. That is the number 2 sick combo for today. Let's go back to the rest of the video now. I'm going to hit back to the PowerPoint. Here we are. Okay. Mist of Damos. This is one that you've probably seen quite a bit. I'll be very brief about this. Mist of Damos is very, very powerful stratagem used by the Grey Knights. Essentially, if you end a movement within 9 inches of them, they get to pick them back up into reserves. Well, they can then combo that with Rapid Ingress, meaning they can then Rapid Ingress at the end of your movement phase. So they can pick a squad up in your movement phase and bring it back down in the exact same movement phase. It is super strong, and it can really mess you up depending on what your army is trying to accomplish. I'm just going to show it real quick on the TTS view. Most of you probably already understand this, because I think most people have probably come across this. If they haven't, I'm glad I was able to show you, because you got to be prepared for how freaking powerful it is. So let's say that we have this here. I'll choose the Death Company Dread here for this. So we have this super powerful, awesome unit of Terminators, and my Death Company Dread wants to go and try to kill them. So he's going to move his 8 inches. Boom, 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 boom. And he's going to say, haha, now I'm going to charge you. I'm going to kill you. But the Terminators from Grey Knights say, no, 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 mon frere. And they spend 1 CP for Mist of Damos. So they pick themselves back up into reserves. And then I finish the movement with the rest of my army, and my opponents are like, you know what? I would like to fight that Death Company Dread, but I want to fight him on my turn. So he's going to spend 1 CP to Rapid Ingress. And he's going to Rapid Ingress them basically right back here, so he still controls the objective. And in his turn, he then gets to move his 5 inches, or whatever, 5 inches, and then gets to go for a big, nice little charge there. And he gets to charge and fight the Death Company Dread on his terms. It is freaking awesome. It's super powerful. It's super strong. As far as I can tell, only Grey Knights have the ability to do this in the entire game, which is cool. It's a unique mechanism. So I like it. You'll like it. Give it a whirl. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. All right, back onto the PowerPoint. We've got 2 more really cool combos to share with you today. This combo is pretty sick. Casterkin getting to benefit from 3, count them, 3 orders in a turn. How is this possible to work? You can only ever benefit from 1 order. And yes, the caster can have a special ability that lets him benefit from 2. But Jonathan, how do I benefit from 3? Well, my friends, let me explain it to you. Go ahead and give the casterkin, order them, move, move, move. And then you're going to order the casterkin to give themselves first rank, second rank fire, which is basically gives them extra rapid fire shots. And move, move, move is going to give them plus 3 inches to move. If you're not an Imperial Guard player, look up Imperial Guard rules. Regardless, this works. Then what'll happen is the casterkin do their movement with the plus 3 inches from move, move, move. So they move quite far. I think that makes them go 9 inches with their movement. And then at the end of your movement phase, bring Gaunt's Ghost down. Well, Gaunt's Ghost gets to then give an order to the casterkin. The new order will override the old order. However, you don't need move, move, move anymore because you've already benefited from it. So Gaunt's Ghost can then order them to say, take aim, to give them extra ballistic skill. It is a really cool combination that will allow you to benefit from 3 orders in the exact same turn. It is unique and super cool. I'm not going to demonstrate this one on screen. It's pretty much just is what it is. So give it a whirl, guys. Try out your casterkin. These guys are super dope right now. I know a lot of Imperial Guard players are kind of struggling right now because they're not sure how to make the army function, even though a lot of the really good players are just crushing with Imperial Guard. This is one of those things that those players are actually using. So use this in your games to really wreck your opponents. Let's get to the last combination today. And if you're a T-Sons player, you know this one very well. If you're not a T-Sons player, you're going to really be glad I told you about this. Okay. So this is the 48-inch move and shoot. Yes, you heard it right. 48 inches to move. And it really does involve Magnus the Red. Now, before we get anywhere else about this, let me just explain it. People who say Magnus did nothing wrong, you're full of it. Magnus did a ton wrong. And SpongeBob SquarePants right here is going to explain to us what Magnus did wrong. He made a bargain with Tzeentch. That's not good. He broke the Edict of IKEA. Not good. He did it twice. Still not good. He didn't warn the other Primarchs about Horus. That wasn't good. He shielded the Wolf Fleet from detection. Also not good. And then he wanted to pay for all of his mistakes with the life of others, which is not good. Magnus did a ton wrong. He is not innocent. Stop spreading this nonsense. Magnus sucks. That being said, he is the scariest Primarch in 10th edition right now. He shoots unlike anything else in the game. His melee, I think he wounds literally everything in the game on a 2+ because he's strength, what is it, 8, 16 or 8? It doesn't matter. He's strength a crazy amount with +1 to wound. And for 1 CP, you get him reroll hit rolls and wound rolls, and he's got a lot of devastating. It's just disgusting. Anyway, you're going to take his you're going to take his Primarch ability. He has 3 to choose from, but you're going to take his ability to give himself an aura of +2 inches to move, which he himself will benefit from. So he's going to move 16 inches. And then you're going to spend your Cabal points for the special ability Warp Time, which is going to allow him to move 16 inches. And then you're going to use the enhancement Lord of Forbidden Lore to do it again. So this guy's going to end up moving 48 inches in a single turn, and then he can shoot and annihilate whatever he's going to shoot. There is a caveat to this. When you use the Cabal points for Warp Time, you can't charge after moving it. But with that much movement, that much positioning control, it is absolutely insane. Let me just show you on the board how far this actually is, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and switch back to the live or to the TTS view. Look at this freaking thing. Here's Magnus. All right, so I'm going to start him here, like all the way back here. This is a 60-inch board because, you know, Warhammer is 60 inches by 44. So let's see exactly how far Magnus can go in one turn. He's going to fly. He's going to move 16 inches. Or you know what? You're going to even get to advance him. Screw it. So you're just going to move him. Oh, I don't think he has assault on his weapon, so let's not advance him. Darn it. Let's start him a little bit closer so I can just, for TTS purposes. So we're going to move him right in front of this little green line on his first move. All right. And then he's going to Warp Time for Cabal. I think it's like 5 Cabal points. I can't really remember. And he's going to go 16 inches. He's just going to go straight through here. Boom, 16 inches. And then using the Lord of Forbidden Lore, you just have to be within 18 inches of him to be able to use it again. He's going to move another 16 inches. So he's going to go here. Darn it. He's going to have to rotate a little bit, maybe lose like 2 inches there. And then he'll end up on his opponent's objective super easily. He comes from his objective to his opponent's objective on Hammer and Anvil in one turn. It is disgusting. It does make it practically impossible to hide from him. It is so darn powerful. Now, it does cost the T-Suns player a lot of resources to do that, but being aware that he can actually move that far in a turn is really vital. Let's just say that he deployed right here. Well, he's going to go at 16, and then he's going to go 16, and then he can even go 16 to be like right here. It's just amazing how far he can move. This is a really sick combo. I hate it because I don't actually hate T-Suns. I think T-Suns are a really cool army. I think the reason we don't see T-Suns more dominant is because they're such a complicated army. You're going to be brain dead by game 3, so you're not going to see them crushing at GTs and in Super Majors super often. But you're probably going to see players a lot better on TTS with your T-Suns than you were in real life. Anyway, this is a really sick combo. Guys, this was my sickest combos part 1 video. If you like some of these, let me know down in the chat. If you have some other combinations that you think are really awesome, I don't know about, please type them in there for me. I'll make sure to include them in the next volume of the sickest combinations Warhammer 40,000. Guys, try these out in your games. They're sick. They can accomplish so much for you. Imagine getting Capture Enemy Outpost turn 1 with Magnus the Red. It is, scary good. Until next time, I am Jonathan Arkin. I'm your host of Happy Carpet Wargaming. I would love to see you all in the Discord or to help you with all of your coaching needs. But until next time, guys, I am out. I hope you have an amazing freaking day. Bye-bye.